Start recording. All right. Welcome. Let's go through this this interview with Amber Heard. I've not seen it yet. Not watched it full. I've seen people talk about it and I've seen people make comments, but we'll go through this and we'll see what it's like. Oh no, it's muted now. Boomer.
I'm going to begin this half hour, though, Savannah, with your exclusive interview with Amber Heard.
Yeah, that's right. This is Amber Heard's first interview since that high-profile defamation trial, and its stunning verdict largely in favor of her ex-husband.
Not necessarily stunning for people who actually watched the trial, but okay.
Johnny Depp. We spoke about what happened in that courtroom and how she feels about all of it now.
It's been about more than a week since the verdict. As you sit here with me now, has it sunk in?
Stop it. Get some help.
How could it? It's surreal and difficult. In part, yes. This has been a long time coming. Do you stand by your testimony and your accusations against Johnny Depp about abuse? Of course. To my dying day, will stand by every word of my testimony.
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No.
Yeah, there's no way she didn't perjure herself. Like, she lied her ass off on the stand. Such a fucking narcissist.
The real-life drama of the defamation case between Amber Heard and her ex-husband Johnny Depp captivated millions of people around the world.
Amber Heard just got exposed.
Johnny, you hit me.
Oh, I hate TikTok
This
so
is
much.
so cringe.
With clips spreading across social media like wildfire.
I think vast majority of this trial was played out on social media. I think that this trial...
How? Are you saying the jury completely disregarded the instructions to the judge? They were told not to look at anything. The one person who admitted to looking at something was removed from the court. So, what
is an
all the jury's
example
fault,
of
isn't it,
that
Amber?
gone haywire, gone amok. And the jury is not immune to that.
You think the jury saw it?
How could they not? I think even the most well-intentioned juror.
It was social media. It wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't come across as completely unbelievable. I didn't, like, backtrack on statements. And...
Congratulations, you played yourself.
terrible.
It would have been impossible to avoid this.
People online and crowds.
And yet every single day, juries are told, don't research the case. Are you saying, are you wanting us to believe that every single day they go home and disregard it? Now, I will give you, it would have been hard in this particular case for them not to. But by all accounts, from people in the actual courtroom watching the jury, they were attentive. They were paying attention to things that they needed to, and they didn't believe Amber Heard. And anybody else who saw her testimony didn't believe Amber Heard. Like, I watched it. Millions of other people did. That is why everybody, almost everybody, except for the Amber Heard stans, completely agree, like completely do not believe a word she fucking said. Like, how has she not got this through her head?
Outside the courthouse made it clear where they stood.
Every single day I passed for 3, 4, sometimes 6 blocks, city blocks lined with people holding signs saying, "Burn the witch," "Death to Amber."
Where? Somebody show me one of those signs where it said "Death to Amber" or "Burn the witch." Because I'm pretty sure if you're standing out the front of the courthouse with a "Death to Amber" sign, sheriffs are going to come visit you. No way. No way. Like, if she seriously wants us to believe that bullshit.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
No way that happened.
After 3.5 weeks, I took the stand and saw just a courtroom packed full of Captain Jack Sparrow fans who were vocal, energized. Can you
Fucking vocal. I saw maybe 1 or 2 occasions where the judge told the gallery to keep quiet or they'd be removed. And it was towards the end. It wasn't when she was testifying. It was when TMZ guy was testifying. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, talk. What reality did she experience? Because sure as shit wasn't the one we all experienced. Holy crap.
Put into words how that felt.
This was the most humiliating and horrible thing I've ever been through. I have never felt more removed from my own humanity. I felt less than human.
Let's go.
What?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Oh. Oh, praise Christ. We've only got a few minutes left.
Go back to the day of the verdict. Were you feeling confident?
That's a great question.
Just the intentional pauses. You've been preparing for this. You know how you felt on the day. It's only been a week. You don't need to do these. Let me think back to my acting classes. Let me focus. Take a beat. Deep breath. Katy, it was so hard. So hard. I'll tell you what she was thinking by the end of the week.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
Damn right.
I wish I could say yes to that.
I really wish someone would find her and tell her, please, for the love of God, stop making your cheekbones look like they're like 12 shades darker than the rest of your goddamn face. It looks like they jut out so much that they cast a shadow, but that's just makeup. Ugh. It doesn't make you look attractive in any way, girl. Like, stop that shit.
I want to say yes to you, but it wouldn't be true. Even if you think.
Because, Amber has such a close relationship with the truth.
That I'm lying. You still couldn't look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation.
Do you?
Yes. Because you know what's been on social media? Footage. Your own fucking words, lady. Jesus Christ. But I haven't got a fair shake because people saw me say exactly what I said.
Find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation. Answer, yes.
After the 6-week trial, the jury found Heard defamed Depp in a 2018 Washington Post op-ed in which she wrote.
Now, look at her now. Look at her back then. Look at the makeup. How much better does she look there when she's drawing attention to her eyes? I have 2 daughters, so you pick up 2 daughters and a wife. You pick this stuff up. She's drawing attention to her eyes there, not her cheek, not her cheekbones. They're not the strongest part of her. She looks so much better there. Stop doing this shit on your cheekbones, man. Stop that shit.
She was a public figure representing domestic abuse. She never mentioned her ex-husband by name. Depp denied the abuse allegations in court. Heard won just one of 3 claims in her countersuit against her ex-husband.
Which she won because the jury didn't want to spend the rest of their lives deliberating because of 1 or 2 people who loved Amber or believed Amber or were just retarded.
That verdict came less than 2 years after a judge ruled against Depp in a similar case in the UK, in which he sued a British newspaper that called him a wife beater.
And it's interesting to point out that the Sun walked back that almost immediately. They called him a wife beater in the title of the article online for about 3 hours. And then someone noticed and went, "Hey, are you fucking stupid? That's defamation." And they changed it to alleged assault. So, arguably, the man should have won. The man should have won that case. The fix was in. If you look into how that went down and what evidence was allowed and disallowed and the connections from the judge to Amber Heard's lawyer and the Sun paper itself, it all stinks. It all stinks to high heaven.
There was another trial, handled it dealt with the same substantive issues that had even more evidence in. In fact,
no, this is wrong. This is a lie. Why are you? We know why you're lying, Amber. We understand.
my evidence was largely kept out. Really important pieces of evidence kept.
But mine was better. It was better.
Out. Done differently, handled differently by a judge instead of a jury.
Here we go. Let's shit on jury trials. I hope she has to face a jury trial one day. Maybe for her life. And then we can say, oh, no, she wanted a bench trial. I will take a jury trial any day of the week.
Some evidence is admissible in a UK court that is not admissible in a US court. Do you think that maybe he just had better lawyers?
I will say his lawyers did certainly a better job.
Yes, that is the first true thing Amber Heard has said. His lawyers did a much better job.
Distracting the jury from the real issues.
For some people.
Oh, there we go. She qualified it. Yes, with distracting the jury from the real issues. What were the real issues again, Amber? Amica cream? No, not Amica cream. No. Oh, no. First Amendment. Oh, yeah, that's right. The First Amendment. That was the. Yeah. But it was Johnny's lawyers who were distracting the jury. Mm-hmm.
Well, they just were frankly disgusted by the whole thing and don't have much sympathy for either one of you. Can you understand that?
Absolutely. I would not blame the average person for looking at this and how it's been covered and not think that it is.
See? I would not. And there again, she equivocates. It's not about her. It's not about we're both terrible. It's I would not blame the average person for looking at this and how it's been covered. Not what I did, not how I've behaved, not how we behaved. It's entirely the media's fault. The media portrayed me as a villain. Are you fucking kidding? So people on social media, people who watched the trial, saw you as the villain. The media ran cover the entire fucking time. They're still out there running cover. Jesus.
Hollywood brats at their worst. But what people don't understand is it's actually so much bigger than that.
Stop that. You're white.
This is not only about our First Amendment right to speak.
But here's the thing about the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects free speech. It doesn't protect lies that amount to defamation. And that...
Got him! Got him! Damn straight, Katie. Defamation is not protected under the First Amendment. It is an exception. You cannot lie about someone and defame them and then hide behind free speech.
That was the issue in the case.
Yes, exactly. You can't go into the free speech does not protect you if you go into a crowded theater and you scream.
Oh, Jesus. Fucking Christ. Kill me. What? Please, Supreme Court, give us another decision on free speech with something better. I'm so sick of that. So sick of the fire in a crowded theater. I want to travel back in time and kill Oliver Wendell Holmes so that he doesn't fucking put that in a decision, so I never have to fucking hear it.
Fire. We get the concept of free speech from the Greeks. My understanding of what that means is not just the free...
Hold the fuck on. We don't get the concept of free speech from the Greeks. Free speech and the entire reason the First Amendment exists doesn't come from the Greeks. It comes from the Enlightenment, the writings of Kant. Like...
freedom to speak. It's a freedom to speak truth to power.
The truth is the word.
Yes.
And that was the issue.
And that's...
Ooh. Ooh. Burn. Fucking burn. She's having none of it. None of it. Oh my God, that's brilliant.
all I spoke. And I spoke it to power. And I...
Truth was all you spoke?
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No.
No fucking way.
Paid the price.
In the closing arguments, the Depp lawyer called your testimony the performance of a lifetime and said you were acting. What do you say to that?
Says the lawyer for the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers.
What the hell is that?
Has she even seen Edward Scissorhands? Oh my...
I'm the performer. I had listened to weeks.
Yes, Amber, we've established that you are a far, far, far worse actress than, well, probably anybody. Oh.
Testimony. Insinuating that, or saying quite directly that, I'm a terrible actress. So I'm a bit confused how I could be both.
The Depp team argued that you were the abuser, that you instigated physical violence. Did you?
I never had to instigate it. I responded to it. When you're living in violence and it becomes normal.
Oh, when it becomes normal. Oh. Real people. So, these are little tricks that you learn when you take acting classes to make you seem more human. That kind of deliberate pause to think is totally fucking fake, lady. Jesus Christ.
As I testified to, You have to adapt.
You say you were responding, but there is evidence. There are tapes in which you acknowledge hitting. There are tapes in which you say, I started the fight.
I know much has been made of these audio tapes. They were first leaked online after being...
Leaked by who? Tell us all about leaking online and to the media, Amber. Tell us all about that.
Edited. What you would hear in those clips are not evidence of what was happening. It was evidence of a negotiation of how to talk about that with your abuser.
But I am looking at a transcript that says, he says, you start physical fights, and you say, I did start a physical fight. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. I mean, this is in black and white. I understand context. But you're testifying and you're just telling me today, I never started a physical fight, and
oh, Katy Tur brought receipts. You hate to see it.
here you are on tape saying you did.
As I testified on the stand about this, is that when your life is at risk, not only will you take the blame for things that you should...
I'll get the fuck out. No. Give me a fucking break.
Shouldn't take the blame for, but when you're in an abusive dynamic, psychologically, emotionally, and physically, you don't have the resources that, say, you or I do with the luxury of saying, hey, this is black and white, because it's anything but when you're living in it.
But then there are other times, there's another tape where you're taunting him and saying, oh, tell the world, Johnny Depp, I, a man, am a victim of domestic violence.
Yeah.
20-second clips or the transcripts of them are not representative of even the 2 hours or the 3 hours that those clips are excerpt from.
Lady, you recorded them. You had access to them. Your lawyers could have used the same clips in your rebuttal. But you didn't. And that tells me that either your counsel was retarded, which honestly, yeah, or they didn't exonerate you. They made it worse.
Could your side have just put the whole 3 hours in then?
I'm not a lawyer. As I testified to, I
Yeah, no shit.
was talking in those recordings as a person in extreme amount of emotional, psychological, and physical distress.
He
And
says
it
he
doesn't-
never hit you.
He can't-
Never. Is
Yeah.
that a lie?
Yes, it is.
What about the witnesses
I doubt it.
who said they have seen you instigate physical violence?
I've seen firsthand how people will file rank
File rank. What the fuck? What does that mean?
and support the person they depend on.
Do you mean fall into line?
Did they all come in and lie in court?
I am not here to call any of his witnesses any names. I'm here to just kind of talk about it from what it felt like for me as a person who sat there.
When I asked his lawyers, why do you think you won? And the answer I got was, because she never took responsibility for anything she did in the marriage.
Yep. That's a big thing. If she'd have actually taken responsibility for some of it, she could have painted the whole thing as, look, we were mutual combatants. We had a volatile relationship, and I hit him, he hit back. There were times when he hit me and I hit back. We just weren't meant to be together. We were two volatile elements. And every time we were okay for a while, but something would happen and we would just explode. And there would be violence. And yeah, I'm the reason Johnny lost his finger. I'm the reason. And look, that haunts me every day. Look, how fucking... You're an actress. If your lawyers didn't, like... You could have spoken half-truths at the very fucking least. There's no tool in acting more powerful than your own experience. And if she'd have used some of her own experience in there, she could have half taken responsibility and said, yes, like, I'd said these things, I did these things in response. This, you have to understand our relationship. And maybe the jury would have said, look, these are just two people who should never have been together in the first place, and sent them both on their way. But you didn't. You didn't. You got up there and you spun another story about being assaulted with a bottle, with a really about. You spun another story about him picking you up like with one hand around the throat and like assaulting you with his other hand. Another story about you being dragged across broken glass. Like, Jesus Christ, this woman lied like her life depended on it. And if you're going to do that, at least be convincing. Holy shit.
I did do and say horrible, regrettable things throughout my relationship. I behaved in horrible, almost unrecognizable to myself ways. I have so much regret. I freely and openly and voluntarily talked about what I did. I talked about the horrible language. I talked about being pushed to the extent where I didn't even know the difference between, right and wrong.
What?
Will always continue to feel like I was a part of this, like I was the other half of this relationship, because I was. And it was ugly and could be very beautiful. It was very, very toxic. We were awful to each other.
Tell me, does anybody out there think the jury might have responded differently if she'd have just admitted that? If she'd have just said, look, everything, it's true. It's true. Our relationship was toxic. There were good times, but as it progressed, things got worse and worse and worse until finally, I gave as good as I got, and Johnny gave as good as he got. And yes, I'm the reason he lost his finger. Like, he lost the tip of his finger. What he says is absolutely true. He got mad. I got mad back, and I threw the bottle at him. She could have spun this. But it is impossible for this woman to admit failure. Insane.
I made a lot of mistakes.
Need to think about that dog that died. It's just so that I can get one of those tears out.
A lot of mistakes. But I've always told the truth.
No.
Heard's lawyers say they plan to appeal that verdict. And as for the notion from Heard that there was evidence allowed in that UK trial that could have potentially made a difference last week, Depp's attorney said here on Today that the evidence presented in the latest trial far exceeded the UK one, 2 different processes, and they believe the jury got it right.
Because they did. And his lawyers are right. Both sides were presented. Both sides.
Well, we have a lot more of our conversation to share with you tomorrow morning on Today, including Heard's response to some of the other allegations made about her in court and her answer when I asked how she feels about Johnny Depp now. We've got lots more of that. Our exclusive interview with Amber Heard will also air on a special edition of Dateline. That's Friday night at 8, 7 Central. There was a lot to talk about, and we'll continue the conversation tomorrow.
That should actually be in a few hours. So hopefully I'll do the other half tomorrow. I will yeah. So that was interesting. She's not going to be able to rehabilitate her image. There's no coming back. There's no coming back from this. Like, I can't see it. I can't see it at all. But yeah, if you like the video, do the like and subscribe-y thing. Ah, damn it. There. And yeah, hit the like button, do all the regular stuff. Thanks, and I'll see you tomorrow.